New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Well, welcome this evening. Here on a gloomy night here in Ohio. We're about to get some rain here. And then I saw the forecast for Denver, and they're starting to get hit with snow. That's what happens around here in May here. Well, hi there. Good evening. Welcome. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. Pastor Michael Mangus with you. And, of course, we're always coming from the secure concrete bunker somewhere around Akron, Ohio, that is so secure that Reverend Robert Brzezinski, my boss and the chief inspirational officer here at New Thought Media Network, he has no clue where the super secret concrete bunker is located. Now, Diego does, but Diego's not here this evening. Now, I may tell our special guest. I just may. All right. So I'll tell you about our special guest here in just a moment. We have a wonderful show for you this evening. We want you to please check in this evening through StreamYard so that we know who you are. You can just go ahead and do it on Facebook, or for all my shy people out there. I know you're out there, okay? Send me an email during the week. PastorMichaelMangus@gmail.com, PastorMichaelMangus@gmail.com. I do read those, but it's just kind of hard to do it during the program this evening. The purpose of our fireside chat here is to get real, is to have, in a loving fashion, the hard conversations that we need to have from a New Thought spiritual perspective. And as I keep saying week after week, month after month, year after year, these are my viewpoints. These are my opinions. We need to have a new thought about what's going on. We need to think deeply about the world events and understand that we are interconnected with all that's going on out there. So we have a part in that too. So how can we use our spiritual awareness to bring forth a world that does work for everyone? Well, we have a very special guest this evening from snowy Denver. She is an assistant minister at Mile High Church there in Denver. The Reverend Millie Forsberg. Reverend Millie is a familiar name here on our network. She comes on our prayer team and occasionally is on our shows here. So we're going to have Millie come on this evening to talk about what happened the last weekend in Buffalo, and also on how we, as a spiritual community, a larger spiritual community, how can we address issues like Buffalo? What is the most loving thing that we can do? So Reverend Millie Forsberg will be our very special guest here in just a few moments. We start the news off this evening with the story that I've been thinking a lot about this week. Because the families, the friends, the community, African American population has been affected by what happened last Saturday at a top supermarket in Buffalo. It says here that 15 people joined suspected Buffalo shooter Discord private chat shortly before the shooting. At least 15 people joined suspected Buffalo shooter Peyton Gendron private account on the communication app Discord shortly before shooting at Tops Friendly Market. A person with knowledge of Discord's internal investigation told reporters at CNN. After the suspected shooter invited people to join the server, his post would have been accessible to invitees as well to anyone else that they may have shared across the network with, the spokesperson said from Discord. Discord also removed the server and the related contents as soon as it was aware of it following a shooting, the spokesperson said. Gendron, who was 18 years old, white. Does this sound familiar here? He was indicted by a grand jury on Wednesday, according to an affidavit from Erie County Assistant Attorney Gary Hackbush. The Erie County grand jury voted for an indictment against defendant Peyton Gendron with regards to the felony complaint filed on or about May 14th. The affidavit states the grand jury's investigation has not yet been completed. Erie County DA John Flynn, he said in a statement. And this is something I want us all to think about. Officials are also digging into the red flag laws. Get this. While the suspect is behind bars, New York officials have called for further examination on how he was able to get guns and how he communicated his plans online. In June, Gendron showed warning signs of potential violence when he made a school project about murder-suicides. When he was a high school student at Susquehanna Valley Central High in Conklin, officials say. So police were called to the school, and he was taken for a mental health evaluation and later released. At the time, police did not seek a red flag order of protection against Gendron. Okay, we're starting to have a pattern here. What happened to the young man up in Michigan? His parents were called to the school. They were sitting in the principal's office. This young man had a gun in his backpack, and they didn't check the backpack. Interesting. Since the shooting, Governor Kathy Hochul has proposed a gun law package as well as other changes to law enforcement protocol when a person shows that they may be harmful to themselves or others. On Wednesday, Hochul said that she would sign an executive order requiring police to file an extreme risk of protection order under the red flag law when they believe that an individual is a threat to himself, herself, or others. Again, we have another tragic shooting by a young white man killing innocent African Americans in a top supermarket, getting their weekly groceries, preparing for the weekend. Like I've said in past broadcasts here, we all must work for a racism-free world. Now, how can we do that? Reverend Millie will have some wonderful suggestions here in just a few moments, but I support us all in having a self-examination here to eliminate the racist attitudes in us, especially those who are white. Why? Because of our skin color, we do have privilege. Now, I can hear some folks saying, well, what are you saying that we have privilege? Blah, blah, blah. There's been study after study after study after study that's shown that. So let us use our privilege to champion human rights and justice. Thoughts and prayers are not enough. We must act. We must put pressure on our elected officials and say, people are dying on the streets. We need to do something about this. And again, like I mentioned, how about tightening the red flag laws? Usually, again, these young men have a run-in with the school and law enforcement long before they do their act out in public. A thorough investigation, not just going in and getting a mental health evaluation, but a series of counseling over 3 to 6 weeks where the counselor gets to know the individual. And again, the longer the people are in counseling, you can't keep up a facade for very long. So there needs to be a longer time. This is what I'm suggesting this evening. How about this also? How about raising the age to purchase a gun to 21? I mean, there's many states you still can't buy alcohol when you're 18. There's some states, again, that, they're raising the marriage age. Why is that? It's because the brain itself in late adolescence hasn't fully developed. And it doesn't have the capability to be able to make better decisions. So let's move our feet here. Let's use Buffalo as a call to action here for us all to create a world that does work for everyone. Well, hi there, welcome. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. It's Pastor Michael Mangus with you. We have in the wings from Mile High Church, we have the Reverend Millie Forsberg. She will talk on some of the news of the day and also what Mile High is doing in their social action committees. Maybe she can speak on what other religious science churches are doing around the world. So the Reverend Millie Forsberg will be with us here in just a few moments. I'm going to briefly mention this here. Tonight, one of our stories is on abortion. The Oklahoma legislature has passed one of the nation's strictest abortion bills that would bar the procedure from the stage of fertilization. The legislation also allows private citizens to sue abortion providers who knowingly perform or induce an abortion on a pregnant woman. Exceptions, they said, will be made for medical emergencies or if the pregnancy was a result of rape, sexual assault, or incest and reported to law enforcement, the bill states. The The measure now heads to the desk of Republican Governor Kevin Stitt, who has previously pledged to sign every piece of legislation limiting abortion that comes his way. However, abortion rights advocates are vowing to mount a legal challenge if he does sign it into law. The bill's passage comes as the Republican-led states have been passing stricter abortion laws in anticipation of the U.S. Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade here next month. And another story that piqued my interest on the abortion issue, as Roe potentials falls near, abortion abolitionists turn on pro-life elites. And again, I won't go very much into this, but abortion abolitionists, including a leading candidate for the SBC, that's the Southern Baptist Convention, wants to end abortion with no exception and say that any woman who has illegal abortion should face murder charges and prison time. I can't make this stuff up here. The way Florida Southern Baptist pastor, I'll have a few things to say about that in a moment, Tom Askell sees it, there is a little difference between a woman who chooses to end her pregnancy and a hitman. Both pay someone to end a human life, his argument goes, and so both should face criminal charges. It's like saying, if I don't murder someone, but if I just contracted a murder for someone else to murder someone, then I'm not culpable, he told a Christian radio host here on Tuesday. The analogy is not uncommon. Pope Francis has made a similar hitman analogy. Askell also believes that women who have abortion should be charged with homicide and face potential jail time. And Askell also criticized pro-life industry elites, that's what they call them, who he says get in the way of ending abortion in America. So I'll summarize the rest of the story. So what this pastor, Southern Baptist, again, who's in line to be their president of the Southern Baptist Convention, what he is saying is that any woman that has an abortion, any woman, should face criminal charges, and that there should be no exception to rape or incest at all, or medical conditions, or saving the mother's life. Unbelievable here. I won't go through the whole story, but I just shake my head in disbelief. Pastors, ministers who say statements like that, all in the name of God. So my response is this: we must continue. My viewpoint, my opinion. We must continue to choose the good. We must continue to support a woman's right to choose. And again, I find that the pro-life movement is more pro-birth than anything else. So how do we support the mother and the child? What you're doing is you're taking something away and saying with nothing to replace it. So what are you going to do with all of these children? Huh? The legislatures, the conservative legislators, have all said no to any kind of extra help. But they're saying yes to pro-life. That's because it's a political issue. That's because, again, it stokes the base, gets them out to vote. but we don't have the social structure that's there to go ahead and support the mothers and the children. A woman's right to medical care includes safe legal abortions. It's being threatened. And who is making most of this legislation? How about men? And again, the pro-lifers may be able to downgrade or eliminate Roe v. Wade. And personally, I still think that Judge Roberts will go ahead and sway one of the conservative judges to go ahead and to at least keep parts of Roe v. Wade. However, by limiting abortion in states is their tactic. As I have said in weeks previous, the rich and also the well-off always has access to medical abortion. I saw a meme this past week that said that the representatives of Congress, mistresses, will always have access to safe and legal abortion. It's meant to be funny, but it's true, though. All they have to do is get on a plane and go to where abortion is legal. I support women. I support women's right to choose. I support the right of every woman to have proper health care, including safe and legal abortions. And for all of my Christian friends out there, including the good pastor, I ask you this tonight. Where did Jesus talk about abortion in the scriptures? Well, he didn't. And many Jewish groups also are opposed to the reversal of Roe v. Wade because in many instances, Jewish teaching allows abortion under certain circumstances. It is all in the right to choose. And again, who is next here? What law is the conservative justices going to go after next? Same-sex marriage? They could have the same argument as they do Roe v. Wade. It was law that was poorly written. So again, this is all something for us to think about here. And for us, again, to do more than just pray about it. We must take action. We must support our sisters out there. 822. Reverend Millie, that's a miracle. Because Diego's always getting on me, saying, you know, Pastor, you have the problem that most ministers do. You talk too long. Holmes Institute didn't take that out of me. Yes. So, okay. So, hi, good evening. Welcome. Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network. Pastor Michael Mangus. Our special guest here in a few moments after our break is the Reverend Millie Forsberg. Reverend Millie Forsberg, who's from a wonderful church in Denver, Mile High Church. She is an assistant minister there. She is the social justice minister there, and we'll be talking with her here in just a few moments. All right. Let's go to our announcements, and then we'll go ahead and we'll take a break here. Yours truly is currently parking himself at Summit CSL. For more information, go to summitcsl.org. There, and only there, you will find information about our wonderful Sunday gathering. Online, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. Grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso, your chai, and join us. We have a great service every Sunday. So this week, We are having our spiritual director, practitioner Diana Mangus, who will be interviewing our music director, John Miller, who has written several books on health and healing. So it's going to be a great Sunday. So go to summitcsl.org for more information on how to join the Zoom call. And our service is also simulcast on the Summit Spiritual Center of Akron Facebook page. And on our Facebook page, we also have past broadcasts of the Fireside Chat and yours truly when he is doing prayer on the New Thought Media Network. We have so many things going on here. I can't even begin to tell you. So go to our website, ntmedia.org. We have a great Saturday lineup. We have a Science of Mind lecture series that is tomorrow morning here on the New Thought Media Network. We also have Spanish programming. Our Sunday lineup features CSLs from across the nation. And again, in a period of 4 hours, you can go from East Coast to West Coast. It is just amazing to see, again, the pouring forth of this powerful message. And we're going to ask also for your support here. Partner with us. Get this powerful message out there with us. We are looking, we pray for people to partner with us financially, either with a very generous one-time gift, or again, like you can do like I do and give a sustaining gift every single month. When you do that, you change lives around the world. We get cards and letters and emails from people around the world that are affected by our broadcast. And as I was talking with Laura Topper the other day, one of our hosts here on the New Thought Media Network, I also plan and intend on putting New Thought Media Network on shortwave because we're missing a lot of areas that do not have internet access right now, but they do have a radio. So that's my intention here. So we ask for your support. So go to ntmedia.org/donate. We really do appreciate the help. All right. Just a few moments, we'll have Reverend Millie on to give me a break from talking. It's good to see everyone this evening. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
And it is my pleasure this evening to introduce our special guest, Reverend Millie. I have to play that disclaimer because our legal department here at the New Thought Media Network told me that I have to. Okay.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. That is so
funny. Well, we play it. Yeah. Our special guest this evening, Reverend Millie Forsberg. She was born in Chicago. She attended nursing school at St. Xavier College, where she earned her Bachelor of Nursing degree. And a year later, then she went into the Air Force as a lieutenant. And after visiting Colorado as a child, she decided that's where I want to be. And that's where she's been. She has 2 daughters, 5 grandchildren. She attended Holmes Institute, where she earned a master's in consciousness studies and also a certificate of ministerial education. She is currently an assistant minister at Mile High Church, where she's the outreach minister and diversity, equality, and inclusion minister. She also received a certificate of DEI, and if you can explain that when I'm done here, Reverend Millie, that would be good, from Cornell. And her goal is to elevate consciousness of the community to that of seeing people all as equal. God created us all as one. She enjoys reading, hiking, swimming, learning new things, especially about different religions and faith paths, and also spending time with family and friends. And she loves CrossFit, but because of COVID, she hasn't been there. She's always stood up for the underdog, and she continues to promote justice among all people. She has a passion also for grief work and also trying to help people through it. And this is her work. And she says, I can no longer be silent as people are killed just because of the color of their skin. I've experienced many injustices just because I'm Black. And I'm sick and tired of it. Reverend Millie, I have your back. Good to have you on here this evening here on the New Thought Media Network. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, great. Well, let's talk about what happened up in Buffalo, your perspective. How has this affected not only Buffalo, but also you personally?
You know, I saw this as another senseless act. We can't change the color of our skin. And so for some people, when they, if they have this hatred against people of color, it's not like we can hide it. We can't go out and pretend like we're white one day or something like that. If you have people who are, of the LGBTQ community, they are safe if they're white, unless they say that they're gay and there are some homophobic people around. So, to try to even equate it to that is not the same thing. And I did have someone try to do that one time. Well, that happened to them because they were Black. Well, I'm gay and I got spit on.
Right.
Like, and you're white. Come on. If you didn't say, hey, I'm gay, no one would have known the difference, right?
Absolutely. And again, that's something that that everyone needs to be educated about, is that apples ain't apples. Okay.
Right.
So, okay, go on. I'm sorry.
So that's one of the things that that I see. That's, how can we elevate this consciousness? How can we make this world a place that works for everyone, even though we have different skin color, different ethnicities, cultures, religious practices? No matter what it is, we're killed. People are killed for so many reasons. But one of the obvious things is when you see someone of color and they kill just because of the color of their skin.
Yes.
There's just nothing like it. And so when that happened in in Buffalo, the only thing I could think about was, I have 5 grandchildren. 4 of them are biracial, but they're still people of color. And I have 1 grandson. And my concern is, will he walk in a place, will any of us walk in a place, and someone comes in and go, I'm going to kill you because you're Black. That I just can't. It's hard to fathom, and it's hard to even try to explain what that is like. One thing, I was reading the news, reading an article by a woman that lives in Buffalo, and she was saying how since this happened, she is afraid to walk out of her door. She is afraid to go out. She had to pick up a prescription for her son at Walgreens. She was afraid to get out of the car, and she was looking around and trying to see if she could figure out anything that was suspicious. And then everyone was suspect. This fear that we are experiencing is just, and I know more than Black people get killed in these mass shootings.
Right.
I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is this, is how targeted we are. We're very targeted. And it's time for it to stop.
Right.
I think there was an awareness more than ever when George Floyd was killed.
Yes.
People began to before maybe we could just pretend like it wasn't happening, or it didn't happen to us, it didn't affect us, it's okay. But when that happened, I think that people became more aware of the plight of being Black.
And that a lot of people also, because of COVID, are sitting in front of their TVs and watching this.
Yes.
And again, that because of these things, okay, that this has been happening to Black people for, hundreds of years. It's just that now is a time for it to end.
It's time to stop.
Time to stop. This is just absolutely Stone Age. This is just not accepted anymore. And that, unfortunately, right now, that we're in a political atmosphere where it's okay to be racist. It's okay if you're a Cincinnati high school student to go ahead and to put signs up above a drinking fountain saying whites only, color people only. That happened last week. Okay, so the reason that we're speaking up and speaking out about it, and again, that we are in agreement also with our leadership council here on the Centers for Spiritual Living, is that, again, this is our time to talk about this out front, again, not to give it more power, but we're here again to speak up, speak out, and to be supportive for a world that does work for everyone. I wanted to ask you a question, Reverend Millie. Again, I talked about this before the show. I've gotten asked this. Well, you New Thought people, this was so much better when you just went ahead and just taught the teaching, when you didn't get involved in any type of social issues, when you just went ahead and just taught the principles. Your thought on that?
So what are the principles? What is the teaching? One asks. The teaching is to ignore suffering, to allow people to be treated unequally. What is the teaching? And how are you teaching the principle if you don't believe that oneness should be expressed everywhere? I think that, For some people, it's like, if it doesn't affect you, it doesn't affect me. If it doesn't affect them,
Right.
then they're not affected by what is going on. But these are your fellow human beings, all of us. Ernest Holmes says that this involves recognizing that there is a power in the universe greater than we are. And it involves knowing that there is a divine mind, okay? And it acts through and in back of a world in which we live. It involves recognizing that we are a part of God. Okay? So what are the principles if we're not teaching that we are all a part of God and that we should have concerns about our fellow members, congregants? Do they feel supported? Do they feel safe? Because I know that, unfortunately, in some centers, people of color don't feel safe. So they come and they leave. Is that what making a world that works for everyone is about? Why don't we all feel safe?
That's a very good question. And I think that a lot of centers for spiritual living are, again, doing a self-assessment on this and have adopted the curriculum from the Inclusion Diversity Council on, again, teaching these principles among us. Listen, I took a class in diversity and inclusion in Holmes Institute. And Ruth Littlejohn.
I know her.
Yes. So, who's done corporate training on diversity and inclusion, going into Fortune 100 companies and teaching. She made me read a couple of books. See, I thought everyone was equal. Okay. And so again, that was my mistaken belief. Okay. So what I realized in the reading that she had me do, and to have me just deeply think about, is that again, the whole idea of white privilege, that because of my lighter skin is that there are some privileges, again, that some Black folks don't have. And I've seen it even at the grocery store where I get waited on before people of color. So we can't stick our head in the sand anymore. And again, I still have this conversation with people, even in our own denomination, about the whole idea of there's no, we're all equal and everything else. No. And this is what I say to them. When was the last time, they're usually white, when was the last time that you thought about race? And they usually say, I don't think about it. And then I tell them, ask that to a person who's African American. And the response back is almost every day. And so we need to be speaking up for individuals. And again, that we're as guilty of it in Centers for Spiritual Living as anyone else. I mean, of the one instance where, again, in the Science of Mind magazine, where the one congregation was labeled as colored. This is pointed out to Ernest Holmes. Ernest went to the congregation, and that following month, that designation was taken off. So we still need to self-police, and also to be aware that we have experts here who can teach us about how to be allies, on how to lift up everyone. Reverend Millie.
Absolutely. That's one of the things. Our program is relatively new. DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. So yes, you could be diverse, but is there equity? Does everyone have the same equal chance of whatever it is they're doing? You know, like to be diverse means more than having, let's see, okay, we have 3 Blacks, we have 2 Latin, we have, you know, it's more than that. Are these people active in your organization as a part of, as an equal to everyone? Is everyone seen as equal?
Yeah. We lost you for a second, Reverend Millie. Go ahead. Just kind of repeat back your last statement.
Is everyone equal in the organization? Are they included in the same ways? They're not just counted. When I was growing up, you know, there was affirmative action. So you had to have so many people of color and stuff like that. But I'll tell you about affirmative action. Okay, so this is the difference with the equality. With affirmative action, I went to a private white Catholic college that was St. Xavier. They wanted the federal money, so they let me in, right? But I would get in the classroom and raise my hand, and the instructor would ignore it. Okay? And the way I looked at it was like this. Well, you know what? I'm still going to get this education, just like my white counterparts over here.
Absolutely.
You know, so those are the kinds of things with DEI. This is what it means and what it brings up, and what it means to us today is this. Are we really looking out for each other? It doesn't mean ignoring what is going on with our people of color, and is creating that safe space, and then stepping outside of that comfort zone, stepping outside of the church building, and being active and saying, what can we do? Can we bring awareness to this, the depth of this on our society? People are grieving, not just Black people, not just, you know, people are grieving. The U.S. is grieving. This has happened again. You know, and then we had Sunday, you know, there was a strike against the Asian community.
At a church.
At a church.
Service. Yes.
Yeah. What is going on? What is it? You know, I would love to raise the awareness so that people can see that when they look at me, they're looking in a mirror, no matter what the color of their skin.
Yes.
And the same for me. When I look at anybody, no matter how they express, since we are all unique expressions of the divine, when I look at them, I'm looking at myself. And so I want the best for that person. And I want that person to be comfortable and happy. But people of color are not. We're not. We cannot pretend like, and that's not living in fear, that's living in fact. You know, and this is what we need to do. So when we hear anyone that's being disrespectful toward a race or anything like that, to speak up and say, you know, think of it as diplomatic of a way as you can, say, so tell me, what's your thoughts behind that? Why do you feel like that?
That's a good way of doing it.
You know, somebody comes up, those this, those that, those, you know, why do you feel like that? What does ever happen to you? And, you know, if they're part of the teaching, I would say you do realize that you're reflecting back to yourself what you're saying. Because we're good at that, right?
No, and I think that we're also very good at, again, of using our teaching to mask deep hurts. We call past few years that the topic of spiritual Band-Aid has come up.
Yes.
Where we go ahead and we say, well, no, we don't dwell on those feelings anymore. You know, listen, I'm not saying to dwell in them. I'm saying to allow them to come up to heal. And
right.
See, that's what we're teaching our ministers now in Holmes Institute.
Yeah.
We're teaching not being in the head so much, but also being in the heart.
Right.
and that there needs to be a balance. And I've seen people, unfortunately, who were asked to leave the program of Holmes Institute because, again, they didn't get it. And, it's just being a minister, and I'll just, since I'm also graduating, yay! Also graduating. Mile High's graduating tonight, so we're gonna leave here at 9 so we can watch the graduation. But we're being taught differently here, and I think because that being a minister is hard enough, and the whole idea that what happens then is you go out into the field, you take you with you when you go out into the field. And if your shadow stuff, which is there, if it hasn't been embraced and also worked out, then what's going to happen? You're going to bleed all over your congregation.
That's right.
And so because of ministers graduating from Holmes Institute, that's one of the reasons why they've changed the training a little bit. So again, that the whole idea that, again, of self-examination, of us taking a look at ourselves and saying, okay, if we are all one, what is my part in this? So Reverend Millie, we have people, again, from around the world here who watch our program. So what are some resources from Centers for Spiritual Living that we can share with them?
I think that the main things that I know about is there are different, and this is some of the stuff that I have spoken to other communities about. And some of them did not have a DEI program per se, but they did have like book studies and that sort of thing, reading materials that will help you to really think through, like you were saying, Ruth Littlejohn, Reverend Ruth gave you, to help you think through and be more objective about it, and maybe bring up some things that you didn't realize. It's like, oh, I didn't know why. Okay, that's not good. And it could be something just from race consciousness that you would just, you learn growing up.
Absolutely.
And you learn that, that's not what you do or say anymore, and how hurtful that can be. So those are some of the things that we can do. And then just reach out to the different centers. That's what I did. The prayers that I post online is from Seattle. They were just starting up a program, a diversity, equity, inclusion. Yeah.
And tell us a little bit more about that. Things you're posting online.
So the prayers are actually from February, and it was prayers. They're prayers for racial healing. And it came up during Black History Month, during that whole month that we get there. But anyway, it was 40 days of prayer. And it's, 40 seems to be repeated throughout the Bible. 40 days, 40 nights, 40 days of rain, 40, Jesus fasting for 40 days, all of these things. And so they came up with the 40 days of prayer for racial healing. And this entire group of people, the ministers, practitioners, wrote these 40 prayers every day. And I asked them, they did post it on the ministers listserv, but I asked them if I could use it on my Facebook page, because I wanted it to reach out beyond, they're not friends with everybody I'm friends with, right? So I want, and I wanted to share that. I shared it with Mile High and on my Facebook page. And so that's what I will do again. I will post those 40 days of prayers. And I will also, there's this thing with gun violence. I try not to be too political, but it's political.
Yes. Absolutely.
We need stronger gun legislation.
Yes.
So those are some of the things that they can do as far as, reach out to your community. And if you don't have a DEI program, say, hey, what can we do to bring this awareness? And it's not okay that, that my fellow men and women are hurting. What can we do about this? How can we be a part of this creation of creating a world that works for everyone? like Emma Curtis Hopkins says, to hold the high watch.
Yes.
By holding that high watch, we get to elevate the vibration. So if we treat and move our feet, that's exactly what Spirit will show us. Okay, let's treat for this. Well, what can we do?
Yes.
Once we finish treating.
Yes. And so for those people, again, who think that, well, you New Thought people, you shouldn't be involved in social justice, you need to read our history. Okay. We came out of the social justice movement. Ever hear of Emma Curtis Hopkins? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She championed women's rights back then. And again, that during the World's Fair, she did not have her display in the religion section. She had it in the women's section. And again, she ordained women. She also taught women to be practitioners, to be self-supporting, something that, again, the medical profession back then was not very good.
No.
So this gave, again, and there weren't that many women ministers. All right. So again, because of a mistranslation of Paul's words, which I believe is still being debated out there. So again, that we came out of that social justice movement. Wallace Wattles.
Yes.
Science of Getting Rich. Where do you think that came from? Again, we were born in and from the social justice movement. So that's what I've been saying, is we need to get back to our roots here. I'm not saying dwell on it, but I'm saying also offer solutions here. That, again, spiritual solutions. If we really saw how divine we were, each and every one of us, we wouldn't be doing this stuff. Absolutely. And I really encourage churches, if people would say, well, we're not, we love everybody. Well, I go ahead and I challenge you to do this. Take a look at your last 4 services. Take a look at your last 4 services. How many African Americans, how many women were participating up on the stage?
Thank you.
How many were up there? And if they are all white, then something needs to change in the culture. If you, again, that you cannot, and again, that's why we do have people of color who do come to our churches. And again, they leave because, again, that they don't feel welcome. Well, they don't feel welcomed is because, again, that we do not have an atmosphere of inclusion. So I challenge you, take a look at your Sunday service, and that, again, who's up there on Sunday mornings? Is it always the male pastor? Is it? So something to think about. That's my challenge to all my colleagues out there. Reverend Millie Forsberg, thank you so very much for being with us this evening. You're always welcome back. Thank you for being here, especially in a week that's also been difficult for me. I was saying, well, where's my buddy, Reverend Dr. Charlotte Manning, who I would normally call and talk about these issues. And I wasn't going to have a show this evening, but I kind of got the nudge on the other side from my buddy saying, you go, roadman, you tell him. She called me a roadman. So yeah, it's just that again, our time is now. Let's bring this stuff up for healing. Again, if you'd like to get a hold of Reverend Millie, again, just go on milehighchurch.org. That's correct? Yeah, milehighchurch.org. And you can get a hold of Reverend Millie, and she'll be more than happy to share with you more information. Any parting words this evening?
Well, thank you for being here. And I will be having a vigil for the Buffalo group Sunday at Mile High. So if you want to come out to that, it'll be after the 10 o'clock service. Other than that, I'm grateful to Pastor Michael for having me here. And I just love the show. Just love it. The humor and just everything. And Michael, keep up the good work.
say a few good things to home office for me.
Got it.
I'm going up for paneling this summer.
Oh, you've already got this, so don't worry.
I know. It's just I know. What people don't realize, you're when you have the calling to do this, you're already it.
Exactly.
Okay? You just go through the hoops and the things to do it. But again, it's just, and one of the things and then we'll end here. One of the things I learned in my the spiritual psychology class with Dr. Frager, he talked about the whole idea that Abraham Maslow talked about the whole idea of the Jonah complex. And that the Jonah complex is when you go ahead and you don't do and use your talents and abilities. But what happens is sometimes that you need a big fish to swallow you up, to wake you up, and then to do this. And again, with ministry, I sure as heck did not want to do this. And something within me just said, when I was going through a period of transition, something in me just says, this is what you need to do. And I'll tell you what, it's been a real glorious path. Not always easy, but again, that's one of the reasons why, and ministers don't tell you this, but you're also in this for your own soul's growth too. Absolutely. You said yes. Yeah. Reverend Millie Forsberg. Again, she's an associate minister at Mile High Church. If you'd like to get a hold of her, go to milehighchurch.org. Look under the ministers tab there. You can send her an email, get in touch with her, find out some of the resources that she can offer. Also, if you go to csl.org and also get a hold, there you go. Also get a hold of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, that they'll be more than happy also to help you out. Reverend Millie, thank you so very much for being with us tonight. Any blessings?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Time for us to go here. Yeah, my camera's going down. So wasn't that a wonderful conversation this evening? Again, we're asking for your support here. When you give here to New Thought Media Network, again, you are changing the world one life at a time. The communities, the people that we reach. Again, it amazes me. Around the world, people are getting this message. And again, as I said before, I'm looking into other ways of getting the message out, again, through shortwave and through other ways of media. So join us. Partner with us. ntmedia.org/donate. We appreciate you so very much. Okay, I'm 4 minutes over. Diego will probably yell at me, but that's okay. I was self-producing my own show tonight, Diego. So that's what happens. For all of us, for Reverend Millie, for myself, Pastor Michael Mangus, you have yourself a wonderful week. See you back next Friday.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.